Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. Everything worth anything requires some will, some effort. What you want to make sure, if you're wise, is that every single bit of effort you put out is maximized in return. Some people put out tremendous effort, they get almost nothing back. Some people put out just the right amount of effort, and they get multiples back, exponential. This is not random. This is the combination of will, volition, power that you have within, and wisdom. Those two together generate the highest results. So, for example, even in the spiritual path, you could kill yourself and get nowhere. Or you could put out a relatively reasonable amount of effort and go beyond where hardly any have ever gone. Where are you expending your effort? So what happens is if you take spirituality or life or a good life as being something that you have to achieve, something you have to get, you've put your effort in the wrong place. If you think you need a car, if you think you need a wife, if you think you need a husband, if you think you need children, if you think you need a house, if you think you need a job, if you think you need a career, if you need to travel, you need to see the world, you need to meet people, you need to live in a place with a nice climate, you need to have a horse. So many things, so many things. Then you take your effort and you put them out to try and get at least some of those things. That effort is almost all wasted. And I want you to pay attention. I don't know if it's 1,000,000 to 1, but it's way out there in terms of effort versus what comes back. In order for you to get something in this world, you have to compete with everything else. There are limited resources. There are limited cars, there are limited horses, limited vacations, and other people want them. Or if you want what nobody wants, then you have to build it. If you want what everybody wants, you have to compete for it. It's the nature of the world. It's hard to get things. It's hard to find the right person. It's hard to keep a relationship together. It's hard to get the right job. It's hard to keep progressing in the job. It's hard to pick a career. It's hard to get a job in the career. It's hard to keep a job in the career. It's hard to progress in the job. It's hard. I don't know what to tell you. You know that. Things require a lot of effort because they're so complex. The world is complex. There's so many different things, and you're just one of 7 billion people on the planet, and you have to try to make it be what you want. It's not going to be what you want by itself. We've been through that 1,000,000 times. I hope you understand. God's not mean. It's not like, oh, gee, why can't I have my way? It's that the world belongs to itself. The world belongs to the forces that create it. There's all kinds of natural laws. There's psychological laws. There's economic laws. There's everything that cause the world to be the way it is. So when you decide what you want from inside, you have to compete with all those forces. Imagine how hard it was that you wanted to fly. Look how hard it took. People killed themselves, lots of them. They tried so hard to fly. And finally, and it's still progressing, anything you want on the physical plane, you have to compete with the laws that cause things to be the way they are to make them be the way you want. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody's telling you not to do that. But it requires tremendous effort, tremendous, versus what you get back. And unfortunately, in most cases, you decide you want something, you put out tremendous effort to get it, and in a very short period of time you realize they didn't give you squat. You get a new car, it excites you for a short period of time, and then it's like any other car. It doesn't turn you on anymore. Same thing happens with every single thing in this world. So I'm just asking you to look at the ratio, the percentage of the amount of effort it takes to get something the way you've decided you want it to be versus what you get from it. That's why everybody keeps running, because they try to get it and either they don't get it and they're upset, or they do get it and then they want something else. Nobody ever, if you ask somebody, what do you want? They don't ever say what I have. What will make you happy? What I have. When will you be content? When I have what I have. They don't say that. There's always something that they're thinking of that if they get it, it will do it for them. So this is the first thing you realize, that one way to try to be okay, and there's nothing wrong with it, just pay attention, is to put out a lot of effort, day and night, to try to get the world outside of you to be the way you want. You know it's not going to do it by itself, and you know that once you get it, it doesn't stay, so you have to keep working. So people spend a tremendous amount of effort just to get a few things, a house, a relationship, a job. That's 3 things in a universe of 100 billion things. Then someday you wake up, if you're tired of doing all that, and you decide, I'm in here, and I'm happy when my thoughts are happy. And I'm happy when my heart is open. And that the truth of the matter is, all I was trying to do was get things that made my thoughts be happy, and get things that made my heart open. If the very same thing I thought I wanted made my heart close, I don't want it. If the very same thing that I thought earlier, if I get this, boy, that'll make it, it'll be perfect, turned me off and made my mind go crazy and get negative, take it for free. I'll pay you to take it. Okay? Now you've caught on. I'm going very quickly. You've caught on that all you want is a nice state inside. You thought these outer things would give it to you, and there's nothing wrong with them. I say it's not about renunciation. It's about wisdom. And so you went about your business, and now you realize all I wanted those things to do was make my mind say, oh boy, she likes me. Isn't that neat? Oh, no, I'll be happy for the rest of my life. Say nice things. If it said that about somebody else, then I'd like that person. Whoever your mind says, oh, that's the person I like, and your heart opens, that's the person you like. It has nothing to do with the person. It has nothing to do with anything outside. If you woke up the next day, and some people are like this, you woke up the next day and you were a totally different person, and your mind was saying, oh, what am I doing with him? Oh my God, can I annul this thing? And your mind was saying that when you woke up. I guarantee you would not feel you made the right choice to marry this person. It is what your mind is saying to you and what your heart is feeding you that determines whether you like something or not. It is not the thing. That's your first step in awakening, is you realize, my God, that's always true. You get a car and you really like it. Then a friend of yours gets a car and you think it seems to be nicer. You don't like your car anymore. It's called wisdom. You just wake up. It's not about not getting a car. It's not about having to get your friend's car. You already worked your tail off to get your car. Now you got to work even harder to get your friend's car, nicer than your friend's car. All you're trying to do is get nice feelings. I liked my house till my neighbor built a nicer one. What's it got to do with your house? It's just that now my mind is saying his house is nicer. Right? Before it wasn't saying that. It was saying my house is nice. Now it's saying I wish I had his house. So if your mind is saying those things to you, then you're not comfortable. Then you're not happy. And if your mind is saying negative things, have you noticed your heart closes? How many of you have found out that when your mind gets really negative, your heart just opens up and you feel lots of energy and love? And when your mind says really nice things, your heart closes down? No, they are in cahoots. There's a conspiracy going on in there. The mind and the heart are in cahoots with each other. If the mind says nice things, the heart opens. That's when the heart opens. If your mind says, oh God, this could work. I really like this job. This could be the one I'm looking for. Wow, there's a whole career here. I could really enjoy doing this. Then guess what? You can't wait to go to work. You feel inspired. You feel enthused. If all of a sudden something happened at work, somebody criticized you, and your mind started saying, I don't like it here. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this for another day or another year. I got to get out of here. I got to find another thing I got to do. This is ridiculous. And every time you went, you saw negativity, your heart would close. You'd feel no inspiration. You'd be tired going to work. You'd hate your job. Your mind is determining the state of your life. There is no way, if I took a headset and put it on your head, now you tell me what you enjoy doing more than anything in the whole world, anything, I don't care what it is. But you put that headset, it's a wireless Wi-Fi headset, long range too, by the way. Okay? So you go wherever you want, Disney World, Love Affair, anything you want, finest restaurant, travel to Europe, whatever you want. Now I'm going to start talking through the headset. Oh my God, I hate this. Oh, this is disgusting. It's anything like I thought it would be. This is ridiculous. I don't want to be here. Oh my God, I feel yicky. This is ridiculous. I've never been more uncomfortable. Now, how you doing? Seriously, how would you be doing when you're eating your meal and that's going on your headset? Or you're traveling around trying to see the ruins of Rome or whatever you want to do. But that's what's going on. Look at these things. They're not anything like I thought they'd be. Oh my God, is this disappointing? I thought the Colossus was bigger than this. It's ridiculous. I could do that. I really can. I'm good at it. I have lots of practice. If I did that inside your headset, you would be a miserable camper. You would not enjoy a single thing that's going on. So if your mind does it, you don't need a headset. If your mind is talking like that, you are not enjoying what is happening. If, on the other hand, you were doing something you were afraid of, like climbing a mountain you never did before, I was saying, oh my God, this is great. This is so exciting. If I get to the top, I'll be the first person. I didn't think I could do stuff like this. I'm so proud of myself. Oh boy, it's very inspiring. It is the rap that is going on inside your head that is determining the quality of your life. It is not what is going on outside. It is what your mind says about what's going on outside. And if it changed what it said, it would change it. So net result is you have now awakened to another stage in your ascent. You woke up and realized it is the quality of my thoughts that determine the openness of my heart. If my thoughts are negative, my heart is closed. If my thoughts are positive, my heart is open. If my thoughts are really positive, I'm inspired and driven. I can't wait to get to work. I can't wait to get home and see my lover. Do you understand that? So the mind is determining the quality of your life. Once you catch on to that and you really understand that, now the application of your effort, that's what this talks about, isn't it? Your volition, your will. All of a sudden, the application of your will, where to apply it and get the maximum results, get maximum payback, changes. It is not about getting everything in the world to be the way you want. I already showed you, you get very little return on that. Rich people aren't happier than poor people. Do you understand that? Generally, they're not. They have just as many problems, if not more, because their mind is bothering them. People who have lots and lots of money, their mind bothers them about the stock market and about whether things are going up or down in currency exchanges and commodity prices. And who wants that going on inside your head? You don't have it inside your head. They do all the time. They just look at the market price that determines how they're doing. So it has nothing to do with what you have outside. And when you wake up to that, then you cease to apply the majority of your effort on getting things outside to be the way you think you need them to be for you to be okay. Doesn't mean you stop doing anything. It just means the focus of your life and the direction of your efforts ceases to be fighting with everybody and everything to get things the way you want and to avoid what you don't want, because the payback's not high enough. So now you realize it's really the state of your mind that is determining the quality of your life. Not what you have and don't have, or not what somebody else has or doesn't have, and not how many people like you or how many likes you have on Facebook, or that kind of stuff. I mean, really, even that stuff. Some people, oh my God, look, I got 1 million likes on Facebook. Another person looks, oh my God, leave me alone. I don't want to have anything to do with you people. I don't want all these people looking at everything I'm doing and tweeting about me. And so basically, it just depends on what your mind is saying. That which is positive to one person is negative to another. And what turns you on is what your mind says will turn you on. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If your mind says, I like this, you do. If your mind says, I don't like it, you don't. And so now we come down to, are you going to wise up and say, if that is what's going on, why am I spending all my energy trying to get the world the way my mind says it wants it to be? Why don't I just get my mind to like things? Why don't I just get my mind to be more positive? Why don't I get my mind so that it be in a state that my heart's open, naturally? Why do I have to get my mind to be positive by having things outside be the way I want? It's my mind. If I want it to be positive, it's going to be positive. And you just basically get to the point where you start to put your effort into your working on your mind and your heart. That's where your effort goes, instead of some of it. Instead of all of your effort going outside, this is when you start to wake up spiritually. It's not weird. It's not mystical. Like, please don't meditate. Oh, I want to go into samadhi. No, I want you to be grounded. That's why I teach you the way I do. If you meditate, I want you to know why you're meditating. It is not to go into samadhi. It's not to see a blue pearl. It's not to see the light of whatever. It is because you woke up and realize, oh my God, if I'm not careful, I'm going to waste all my energy by putting out 1,000-fold and getting back a half. which doesn't last very long. If I work on getting my mind into a receptive state to where it's pleasant to live in here, my heart won't be afraid to open because it's in an environment that is conducive to an open heart. Now your heart will not open because you're scared. You don't trust people. You're scared you're going to get hurt. God knows what's going to happen next in this world. And so until you can create an environment which is tiny inside your house with locked doors and everybody behaving exactly the way they're supposed to and the phone not ringing at night, it has to be exactly right for your heart to open. And it doesn't stay very, very long, does it? Because all kinds of stuff goes on. And so then you don't feel passion and inspiration. So you catch on that if I can work with my own mind and get positive and get a nice environment inside so that what is being said through the headset of my own mind is pleasant and nice, my heart will feel open and safe, and I can then feel inspiration and joy for anything. Anything, it doesn't matter. The things are not what give you inspiration and joy. It is the state of your heart that gives you inspiration and joy. And if you're letting things determine the state of your heart, that's a very fickle thing, to let other people, places, and things determine the state of your heart. Have you noticed? It's your heart. It's your mind. Work with them. I told you it requires effort. Everything requires effort. Everything requires will if you want something good to happen. It's a question of where you're applying your effort. So now you start to work inside. There are all kinds of ways to do it. You put out effort. People, positive thinking, meditation, this, that, mantras, all kinds of things. You just do different things that try to create a state of mind that is much more pleasant than the one that is naturally happening inside of you. When you look at how your mind talks about you, all it does is diss you. There's not a person you know who is more negative about you than yourself. You do something wrong and all say, oh my God, you always screw up. No one's going to like you. Oh my God, you're in so much trouble now. And nothing happens. But it did in there. Oh my God, you gained a pound today, 10 pounds tomorrow. It's just crazy. You have a conversation with somebody. You walk away. Oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. I can't believe I said that. I was doing good until I said that. He's going to think I'm an idiot. What should I call him? No, I don't want to call him. Anybody have that going on in there? How can your heart feel comfortable opening if that is what is going on in there? And the answer is it can't. How do you like that? You can't feel comfortable going into your house if it's filled with roaches and snakes. Well, you can't feel comfortable living inside yourself if your mind is dissing you like that and talking like that. And don't tell me it's constructive, it drives me to do better. It is destructive, it destroys you. So you just come to the point where you start to work with yourself. That is where those efforts, I'm just using examples. If the outside world, if you put out 100,000, you get back 5, and I'm telling you, that's about what it is. You can put out your whole life, can't you? You can put out for 20, 30 years trying to keep a relationship together, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to get a career, and all of a sudden it's gone. You get fired, somebody leaves you. It's just gone. It's the most ridiculous thing in the whole world. That's why Christ said, don't build your house on sand. Because that's all it is. It just keeps changing. It's so thin. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And you know it. That's why you feel insecure. That's why you got all kinds of stuff. Because you built whatever you have by putting out 100,000 effort for a prolonged period of time and getting back 3, and you cling to that with all your life, and you know friends that the 3 went away, and so you're afraid it'll happen to you. And you wonder why you're insecure. You wonder why you don't feel strength. Well, it doesn't work that way. So you come inside, and if it's 100,000 to 3 outside, it's, I won't say 100,000 because very few people put as much effort inside as they do outside. So we'll give you 50,000 inside. It's 50,000 to 10,000. The ratio is ridiculous. Of course it is. You're working directly on the situation instead of working indirectly. If I have food sitting over there and I'm really hungry, I'm starving, there's food right there. Oh, it's the best food in the whole world, and I'm hungry. How much effort does it take for me to take the food and eat it? Well, very little. It works out pretty good. Whatever effort I put out, I pretty much get back some stuff, don't I? What if I decide, just my mind decides, I'm not allowed to pick up the food myself. Somebody else has to feed me. I don't know why it said that, but it did. Now I have to go out and find somebody, manipulate them, and convince them to feed me. That's a lot of effort to get back some results. That's what you're doing with the world. You're sitting there saying, I can't be okay unless you all do a certain thing. So I have to manipulate and control everything, right? Versus you start working inside, it's the same as, well, I'll just feed myself. It's so funny, I can't even talk. Do you understand how true what I just said was? Literally, that's the comparison in amount of effort you put out and what you get back, one way versus the other. Why in the world do I have to get all of you people to like me to feel good about myself? Why in the world do I have to be the best pianist that ever lived and win every single thing to enjoy playing the piano? I can play the piano for myself. It's a very nice thing. I really enjoy it a lot. I can tell myself, hey, you're doing really good at this. And I feel good. I'm doing really good. I feel good about it. I don't need you telling me. Why do I need you telling me? Why is it if you tell me, oh, God, you're playing really well, Mickey, then I feel, oh, that's nice. I feel really good. Put out all this effort, practice all these hours, and it was worth it. But if I play and I say, God, I really like that. I'm getting a lot better. Why don't I feel the same thing? Why do I need to manipulate you to make me feel good? It's so confusing to me. I don't understand it. It's exactly the same as why don't I just take the food and feed myself? Why do I have to bribe you and convince you and get you to like me enough to come over and then convince you why you should feed me? I just don't get it. I'm being very businesslike with you tonight. This thing about effort, how much effort you put out and what you get back. That's very important. You want to get back your money's worth. Well, you don't get it when you do it indirectly. You do when you go directly. So a wise person, and that's starting to get the definition of wisdom, starts to work on themselves. What does that mean? I work on my mind, I work on my heart. If I want my heart to be open, I need my mind to be positive. I need to create a constructive and comfortable environment inside myself to where the heart feels comfortable opening. And I need to work with my heart to where it doesn't close. I don't want my heart to close. Why? Because I like what it feels like when it's open. I don't want my heart to close because you didn't say what I wanted you to say, or you didn't behave the way I wanted to behave, or I didn't get what I wanted, or something looks like my heart closes. I don't want that. Well, what do you mean you don't want that? That's cheating. I thought you said at one point I was cheating. I'd probably get in trouble. You're not paying the price. You don't get to have your heart open by yourself. You need to go sweat through a relationship and go to counseling and do all kinds of things. No, I just get it open by myself. It's my heart. And if I can get my heart open and it stays open, I'm the happiest person that ever lived. I don't need anybody else. Doesn't mean I don't have anybody else. It just means I don't need anything else. I am working on myself. I don't need you to tell me things so I feel good about things. I can tell me things so I feel good about things. Why not? It's my mind. It's my heart. It's that sensible. That's why you work on yourself. Not because you want to go to God in your next life, not because of this, that, and the other, not because you want to work off your karma, not because, the guru will like you. No, you work on yourself because it's the most rational thing in the world to do, and everything else is completely irrational. People say spirituality is not logical. Oh, yes, it is. What y'all doing is not logical. It's not logical at all to put out 100,000 effort to get 3 back, and you're going to lose that at some point anyways. You go inside, and you start working on yourself. So what does it mean to work on yourself? It means to work on your mind, and there's a higher state. I just want to talk about this state. It means to work on your mind and work on your heart. I'm going to repeat that. It means to work on your mind and work on your heart. Forget about deep states where mind went away or anything. You're going to be stuck with one for a while. You understand that? Just like you're stuck with a body, you got one for a while. Learn to take care of it and be reasonable with it and keep it healthy, and it'd be much easier to live in there. You got yourself a mind, don't you? You got yourself a heart. And the mind can be negative or positive, and the heart can be open or closed. Who has noticed that? And life is a lot nicer when the mind's got nice things to say about it, and a lot nicer when the heart is open and you're feeling inspiration and passion, isn't it? That makes the beauty of life. So you work on your mind and you work on your heart. Let's take a moment. You know how to work on a relationship, to work on getting money, to work on getting a job, to work on traveling, to work on getting people to like you. You've been doing it your whole life. If you say, yeah, but I'm not really good at it, neither's anybody else. Right? It just all ends up in disaster. So, what does it mean to work on yourself? First, you need to wake up and get centered and realize you are not your mind. You need to work on your mind. You are not your mind. You are the one who listens to your mind. Your mind always has something to say. I like this. I don't like this. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done that. I don't think this will work. Maybe it will work. It's just talky. It just talks all the time, doesn't it? You are the one who hears it talking. You are never what it's saying. It just says things based on its past impressions, based on the psychology of it. That's what it is, psychology. Psycho mumbo jumbo. And it talks, doesn't it? It never stops. It just talks. Oh my God, that was quite a dream. I wonder what it meant. That's the mind talking. That's not you. You are the one who hears it. So that is the first, most important stage. If you're going to work on your mind and work on your heart, you have to understand that you are not your mind and you are not your heart. Otherwise, you're too close to them and you won't be able to work on them. If your heart hurts, how do you know? Oh, he left me and my heart's just breaking. How do you know? What do you mean, how do I know? How do you know your heart's breaking? Because I'm in here and I feel it. Okay, good. Who are you that's in there that feels it? You are in there, aren't you? You do feel it, don't you? I'm interested in you getting enough detachment from the mind and the heart to be able to say, I'm in here and it's tough in here because my heart hurts. And my mind is just freaking me out. Has your mind ever freaked you out? Just won't shut up saying all these negative things. Oh my gosh, you're in trouble now. Oh my God. It's so cute as a button. So you've got a mind and you've got a heart. And then there's you, the consciousness, the awareness of being, the self, the Atman, the soul. Call it whatever you want. You, the one who is aware that the mind is talking and that the heart is emoting. That's the first prerequisite of being able to work on yourself, is being there. If you're going to go to work, you got to show up. You can't work on yourself when you say, I'm trying to work on myself, but I'm so scared. No, then you're lost in your mind. I was doing good, but then if I had my heart, it happened and my dog died, and this happened all in the same week. Oh my God, it was terrible. And you're just lost. You got lost. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. You're not home. You're not in the seat that can do work. You can't do work if you get in that close. You're lost. You think you are the heart. You think you are the terrible emotions that are leaving your heart. You think you are what your mind is saying. You are never, ever the emotions that are leaving your heart, and you are never, ever what the mind is saying. You are the self, the consciousness who is aware that the mind is yakking and that the heart is emoting. All right. That's not the end. That's the beginning of your work. How do I at least maintain a state so I can come to work? You are to come to work each day. You've already decided, I hope I convinced you, that the real work you need to do is in here, not out there. Not because you're trying to renounce everything and go to God. Don't talk about that. That's ridiculous. If you still believe there's something out there to get, go get it. Until you find out that the amount of effort it takes to get it isn't even worth what you put out. So it's not about renunciation. Renunciation is, I think it's out there, but I won't do it because it'll make God happier. Don't do that. Wisdom, depth, brings you closer to God. God's always happy. The question is, are you closer or not? Are you happy? So you wake up and you realize it's not that I'm trying to renounce what's outside. It's not that I don't understand that there are things to get outside. It's that the amount of effort it takes versus what I get back is much, much better spent on turning my mind into a nice, positive environment to live and into my heart that's open. That's why you do your work. Do you see the difference? It's a very logical, rational thing to do. Good. Now come to work each day. And I don't mean each day. I mean each moment of each day. I want you conscious. I want you, not just when you're meditating, all day, every single day, you are aware that I am watching a mind go through all these changes. It just says one thing one time, another thing the other time. Oh, it's tough to live in here. Good. I want you to feel it's tough to live in there. Why? It means you're in there seeing that it's tough to live in there. There's a difference between being lost in the drama. Here, I'm watching the soaps on TV, Edge of Night or General Hospital, whatever's on nowadays. So you're sitting there watching this thing. Here's two ways that I watch somebody really into soaps. One person in there, oh my God, I'm completely lost in the whole thing, scared to death, totally freaked out. Another person saying is, God, this is sad. Watching this is sad. Why am I watching this? Oh my God, this is tough. I watch this, it makes my heart hurt. My mind's going crazy. What? There, at least you're there. You're there seeing what is happening because your mind is watching this, as opposed to you're completely lost in what is going on in your mind. You have to be there. That's what mindfulness means. You have to be there all day, every moment. Somebody's talking to you and your mind doesn't like what they're saying. Oh, I didn't do that. Why are they saying to me like this? All right, I want you to see your mind saying that. I didn't talk about what you do about it yet. But if you're not there, it's just going to do it for you. You'll be on autopilot. It'll just talk back. You won't be looking to see, do I bother? Do I bother protecting myself? Do I bother getting into that space and making a rational decision? Instead, you just react. No, you have to be there. I'm treating you like a wise being. You're now asserting your energy wisely. So first, I want to see what the mind is doing, and I want to make a rational decision as to whether I should be listening to it. The mind sometimes says things that you're better off not listening to. How many times has your mind told you that all kinds of stuff's going to go wrong and you're in big trouble, and then nothing happened? How many times has your mind driven you crazy, and it turned out to be over nothing? Somebody doesn't call 10 minutes late. They haven't called. My God, there could be an accident. What's happened? Maybe he's running around with somebody else. And then they call, sit there and say, oh, I couldn't get to a phone. Oh, okay. No, you don't say okay. You look at your mind and say, what did you do to me for 10 minutes? It just causes trouble, doesn't it? So you become wise and you wake up and you realize I'm going to stay aware of what my mind is telling me instead of just listening to it. You don't have to fight with it. Just be aware. And I'm going to be aware of the emotions that are coming through my heart. If your heart hurts, I'm going to be aware. Oh, God, my heart hurts ever since he left me. Whoa, I wonder how long this will last. Good. That's better than, oh, God, I'm dying. One, you're seeing it. The other, you're lost in it. So in order to work on your mind and work on your emotions, achieve and maintain a center of consciousness which is able to do. How do you do that? Meditation is a very good way to do it. Mantras are a very good way to do it. Yoga is a very good way to do it. All kinds of things are very good ways. The tools are out there. The techniques are out there. Which is the best? The one you use. You start to work with things. Well, should I turn mala beads? I used to turn mala beads. Should I turn mala beads? Why would I turn mala beads? Because every time you turn a bead, you say God's name, something, you say something willfully, you say it. And all of a sudden it becomes a habit that you have now, that instead of getting lost in your mind, you have something that's helping you stay out of your mind. That's all. Nothing mystical about it, nothing weird about it. Just there are techniques that you can choose to do. Practice them when you're meditating, practice them around your house, whatever. It's really very, very beautiful that there are all these techniques. That's what yoga is. It's a gift that if you want to work on yourself, there are all these tools and all these techniques. But remember what you're using them for. So now, I want to know how to work on myself. Now I am present. I've stayed deep enough inside that I see my mind is crazy. I see my heart. I see there's not a nice environment in here. What do? You change your environment inside. How? By fighting with my mind? No. Do not ever fight with your mind. Can I get a crowbar and pry my heart open? No, you cannot get a crowbar and pry your heart open. What you do, now that you're there, is I want you to watch and see, why does your heart close? I don't want you to stop it. I don't want you to touch it. Why does your heart close? You've had your heart open. I know people, their heart's tremendously open. Then they close it. One day they're completely open, then they're closed. What's that all about? You know anything about that? You need to watch. Why did you let your heart close? Why did your heart close? And you're going to see that your mind did it. Almost every single time. Your mind starts thinking a certain way. You didn't realize it. It starts thinking a certain way and saying certain things. It has a pattern, doesn't it? Right, I knew this wouldn't last. It's like every other relationship. Oh, God. And the next thing you know, the heart's closing. Why would the heart stay open under situations like that? There's not a chance in the world it would stay open. And so you start watching and noticing. And then, remember, we're back to what energy you expend. I want you to get your money's worth. Certainly having your heart open is worth it, isn't it? Okay, so now we're about to expend some energy. What energy do we do? The moment the mind, and I mean the moment, I'm teaching you something, not 10 minutes later, not 5 minutes later, not 30 seconds later, the moment the mind goes south, the moment the mind starts saying things that are not conducive to the state of an open heart, you go to work. How do you go to work? One, you notice it, and you immediately decide, I am not going to close my heart. I'm not going to let my mind close my heart. I'm in here. I'm a willful person. Master Yogananda, he said, replace every negative thought with a positive one. So if your mind starts saying, God, I don't really feel good about this, make the mind say, yeah, but I really like this. This is wonderful. They're going to work out great. And it's this negativity, good. I'm glad it's coming up because it'll go. Just start saying positive things. That way the negativity that the mind has in the habit of saying doesn't take over things. There's at least competition going on in there. You have the right to do that. Now, Master used to teach, replace every negative thought with a positive one. I don't know if I ever taught that. I don't think I ever did. I think the reason is because If you did that, it would be a full-time job. You couldn't go to work, you couldn't go to sleep, you'd be busy replacing every negative thought with a positive one, all right? But I'm playing with you. It's not a bad thing to do, right? It's a form of affirmation. It's a form of willfully. Now, remember I talked, this whole thing's about effort, putting out effort and getting your money's worth. It is effort to say positive things when the mind is saying negative things. It is effort to make the mind say positive things when it wants to say negative things. Oh, I don't want to give a talk. I don't like giving talks in public. I love giving talks in public. I used to not be good at it, but I'm going to be much better at this. And if I don't do really well, boy, will I learn something. Every time I do something, I learn. That's it. All of a sudden, you're listening to something nice in there instead of listening to the garbage that your suppressed and depressed mind talks about. So that is an example of putting out effort. But look how direct your effort was. You're directly dealing with the problem. You're not dealing with somebody outside that might deal with the problem. So you will get much greater rewards for any effort you put out for this inner kind of work than you do with the external work. But I want you to understand why you do it. You do it to improve your life. You do it for the same reason everybody goes out to get new cars and new vacations and new monies. You do this because it leads to the same thing. It leads to joy, passion, love, inspiration inside, as opposed to having to have to do the garbage outside. So that's one way to work with it. Another way to work with it is to sit here and watch the heart. And you'll see that it starts to close. And you don't know now. You need to develop that. This is not going to happen in a day or two. Just like you took time to learn calculus. It takes time to learn how to do this. No one ever taught you how to work with yourself. Your heart starts to close. Don't let it. What do you mean? Don't let it. You're in there. Start breathing. Like Ramdas used to teach, and it works really well. Put a nostril in your heart. Make believe there's a nostril in your heart. And when your heart starts to hurt or starts to close, instead of breathing through your nose, breathe through that nose. You'll feel it. Just. So what you want to do is you breathe in there and you bring it up. Breathe out through your mouth or nose up here, but you breathe in through your heart. You'll actually feel, it feels a pressure when you breathe in through your heart. That will help your heart stay open. You won't want to do it when it's closing. It doesn't want to do that. But what you're doing is you're taking control of the energy that's flowing through your heart. Instead of letting the negative forces cause it to close, you just... It works. Anything you do in there with the intention of raising yourself, raising your mind, raising your heart, you can't lose. You're at least working in the right direction. You may not experience the rewards right away, but come on, outside you can put out all kinds of effort and don't get anything back for a long time. Go become a doctor. Decide when you're 12 you want to be a doctor. Whew! You got some studying to do. Right? It's like another 30 years of your life. Better be worth it. So the net result is this will take some time, but you just work on yourself. The key here is you don't ever not work on yourself. You don't ever, I'm not kidding you, you don't ever not work on yourself. And I mean ever. Every single moment when it starts to close, you do something. I don't care what it is. You don't let the forces of habit take you back down. Well, which one of you would go out there and get a boat and buy the boat and have it and so on, and then you're holding onto the rope of the boat and a wave comes and starts to pull it away? Would you just, I guess it went away? No, you put out some serious effort to get that boat back. You ain't letting go of that rope. You worked your butt off to get that boat. All right? Same thing inside. Yes, I spent all that time showing you that what you're getting by working with your mind and working with your heart is everything you were trying to get with all that work outside. If the work outside did not make your mind positive, then you wouldn't have gotten anything. So just get your mind positive and get your heart open. So do not let the heart close. I always tell people, don't worry about opening the heart. Worry about not closing it. Not one of you know how to open that heart. It takes something outside. But you do see that you're the one who closes it. Your mind closes your heart. Well, decide that you like an open heart enough to where my mind's not closing my heart ever again. I'm going to work with it. I'm going to put out the effort. And so the minute it starts to close, you say something positive, you breathe in, you do some yoga. I don't care what you do, but you do not let the forces of darkness, of the negative forces inside of you, touch your heart. That's what it means to purify your heart. That's what the whole path is about, is you're in there working directly with your own heart. Now, some people go through cycles. They go up, then they go down. Then up, then they go down. How you doing? Well, not so good, but come back next week. We'll have a talk. I don't know. What are you doing? You need to watch this happen And you need to say, why am I allowing my heart to close? I was high. Nothing changed. You didn't move. You didn't get a new husband. Nothing changed outside. Yet your moods are coming and going. There are no moods. It's just that you're not working with yourself. There's only one mood to a yogi: ecstasy, joy, love. That's your mood. It doesn't change. It only changes because you let it. And it changes because the forces of negativity and all that close your heart. Well, maybe it's worth the effort to put out to have your heart not close. And you just decide, my heart is never closing again. I don't care who does what. I don't care what happens outside. It's my heart, and I can deal with things better when my heart is open. It doesn't do any good to close my heart because something bad happened. It was bad enough that somebody left you. That was a bad situation. Bad enough somebody died. It's a bad situation. Bad enough that somebody stole your car. That's a bad situation. If you close your heart over it, now you got two bad situations. You have the outside bad situation and the inside bad situation. Why is that a benefit? What good did that do? There is never, ever a benefit to close your heart. Never. It ruins your life. So you put out the effort to keep your heart open. So when it used to go through these moods, they're going to start at some point. You do what you need to do to turn that energy around. Go read a book. Go run. Go breathe through your heart. Go do yoga. Just something. Just do something. Do not just allow this to ruin your life. And it will ruin your life. It will take away your joy. Don't let it happen. And so you start working with this. So now the rewards, I told you there's effort. Now you're putting out good effort. And you will get very good rewards. It will work over time. Somebody's saying, but what if it doesn't work? There's no such thing as it doesn't work. Anything you put out will come back multifold. That's what they talk about in the Bible. Cast ye your bread upon the waters, it will come back tenfold. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. That's all they're talking about is this. If you do work on yourself, it will come back multifold. All right. Now there's another state where you're working with yourself and you realize, okay, there's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm not saying it's not a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Keep your heart open, isn't it? What about the rewards? What if you succeed? Like I said, it's so silly. It's a lot of work to have a good marriage. It's a lot of work to bring the kids up. It's a lot of work to have enough money to do things and buy houses. And it's a lot of work. Yeah, okay, good luck. All right, the market goes bad. In 2007, everybody lost their houses that they worked so hard for. Inside, of course, it's a lot of work. I want you to understand it's work. There's work to be done, but the work's on yourself. And so you start doing this work, and if you can keep your heart open, you win. Nothing else has to happen. And if you can literally keep your heart open, nothing can take it away from you because you learn to keep it open yourself. This is very important. Everybody's out there killing themselves and getting nothing back. That's your fault because you're not putting your effort out in the right place. So you're doing this. Now there is another level that's even more powerful. What will happen is at some point, when you work with yourself enough, what will happen is because you're changing the habit of your heart. The heart now is the habit of closing. The mind is a habit of being negative about things. You can change that. And all of a sudden, the mind's saying, this is fun. I like this. This is exciting. Days are nice. Now nothing can go wrong. The heart feels good. It opens. Now what? Now what? Now you're going to find that you're there all the time. Why would you not be? It's pleasant in there. You don't have to struggle. And you're going to find out the most amazing thing, which I wrote in the second book, The Surrender Experiment, that the world does fine by itself. It brings stuff for you to do. You're inspired. You do it. And all of a sudden, 100-fold comes back to you. All kinds of stuff unfolds and doors open and people come in. What? I'm not doing anything. Well, you are doing something. Because you're not out there working on the world to match you, you're not screwing up the natural energies of life. You're instead working on yourself. And then you come in harmony with the flow of life. And that's a pretty good power to be in harmony with. Life's pretty smart. It made the whole universe. It made DNA, this brilliant chemical that can create a body. That's the force you've come in harmony with. And so all of a sudden, great things start to unfold in front of you. Now what? Now you have woken up and you realize I'm in here. The mind can be positive. The heart can be open. And the world can take care of itself. It's doing wonderful. It doesn't mean I don't put effort into it, but the effort is fun because I feel good about things. And then you will realize at that point that all this energy, I've always wanted to talk to you about this, I never have time. All the energy that was spent, that effort, the will that was spent trying to manipulate the world to make it be what you want, what you don't want, struggling with your mind, struggling with your heart. There's a lot of energy going on in there. What happens when it harmonizes and it's not in opposition with itself? What happens when only one of you in there? If thine eye be single, the whole body shall be filled with light. That's what they're talking about. A whole bunch of you in there now, aren't there? Fighting with themselves, right? What if there's just one of you in there? And all this energy is liberated and freed. It doesn't have to struggle anymore. The heart stays open. The mind is quiet. The world unfolds in your harmony with it. All the energy, the subconscious energy, the conscious energy, the needs, desires, fears, oh my God, so much stuff is in opposition in there. Therefore, energy is being wasted. Tremendous energy is being wasted. When you get yourself together by working with yourself, those energies are released from what they had to do before. And you don't have to do a single thing. They start rising up. It's a real thing. It's not a mystical thing. You feel them like rush of holy waters, the Bible talks about. The Shakti starts going up, and it lifts you up. It's like your heart doesn't exist there anymore. It's lifted. It's almost as something's inside of you lifting your heart all the time, every day. This lift, like a water flow going up, lifting your heart, lifting your mind, lifting everything. You're being lifted up. It's uplifting because you've freed that energy. And this is what it does. It goes up. And it does actually go up through a central channel. The yogis call it the Sushumna. You don't have to know anything about it. When those energies are free, they find their way up a central channel. And you feel them lifting you and bringing light and beauty and love. Now, your effort is very simple. The beauty of that flow is so powerful that all you want to do is lay into it. It's like, what if you got touched water that was so silken, soft, and perfect? You want to get in. What if you're in an intimate relationship, intimate moment? You want to just melt into that. That is what it's like in the Shakti. Your consciousness, you in there, are now experiencing something more beautiful than even the positive mind or the open heart. You're experiencing the flow of this beautiful energy, and so you rest back into it. That's your last acts of effort, that you just let go. That's called letting go. You just completely surrender and release your thoughts about what you need and don't need. Even you release working on yourself. There's nothing left to do. There's just the releasing into that energy flow. That's your last act of effort. That one, now turn the ratio around. You put out 1, you get back 1,000,000. And ultimately you put out 0, you get back everything. When you get to the point that there is no effort, no will, no reason to do anything other than allow yourself to merge and flow back in that flow of energy, you merge with the ocean of consciousness. You become one with the whole universe. So that's a lot of reward. The Master said there's a river, talking about that river, upward flow, there's a river of joy that flows inside of you. There is. Now it's all wasted, being blocked with all this stuff. There's a river of joy flowing inside of you. Find it, go there, get in, and drown. That's yoga. That's union. So the purpose of this talk was to say, you're smart people. Which one of you, a guy says to you, if you give me $1, I'll give you a penny. I'm glad you're smiling. That is what you're saying to the world. I'll give you 100,000 if you give me 3. Inside, you're saying, okay, I'll put out 10, you give me 5. I'll put out 10 effort. And probably is even, 10 for 10. That work inside yourself really makes a big difference, doesn't it? Those of you who have been doing it, you see that. It makes a big difference in the quality of your life and how you're doing in there. And then ultimately, there's nothing to do. There's just being. You start to experience the nature of you who's in there. So there's nothing to do. In the end, there's no will. In the end, there's just surrender. There's just releasing of all the concepts and trouble that you do inside yourself. Very good. So work on these things. Jagrata.